What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now for this video, we're going to be jumping into Wonder Woman, issue number 773. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with this line, go ahead and check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything that's going on with Wonder Woman, and this is written by Michael Conrad and Becky Cloonan. The artwork is by Travis Moore, and colors are by the amazing Tamara Bonvillain. And so far, what we've seen out of this story arc is Wonder Woman has died. After the events of Dark Knight's death metal, she dies and she finds herself in Valhalla. The only issue is Valhalla is dying. Ragnarok is on the horizon. Meanwhile, Deadman has been actively working to get Wonder Woman out of Valhalla and to Olympus where she belongs. But before she leaves, she feels like it is her obligation, her duty, to ensure that Ragnarok does not happen. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we get into this issue, we pick up with Wonder Woman headed to the fortress of the Valkyries. Meeting up with Odin along the way, he is the ferryman that takes her across the water to the fortress. And arriving at the Valkyrie gates, she calls out to anybody that might be able to hear her. Now up to this point, Wonder Woman, she's not even sure if this is necessarily a good idea, but they have come all of this way. She has the key to open the gate, and she might as well take the steps. And as she puts the key into the door, we see the gate lift up. And before she can take her steps to move forward into the fortress, there is a giant clang, and there is a force that is pushing her back. And from the fortress, we hear the words asking, who is it that would come here? Who would dare approach the fortress of the Valkyries? And Wonder Woman pleads with them, saying that she's come to try to save them, to try to save all of Asgard. And she needs their help in being able to find them, to find all of the Valkyries and where they have disappeared to. And this is where the Valkyries allow her entrance inside. And standing before Wonder Woman is the leaders of the Valkyrie. And Gundred, leader of all Valkyrie, she tells Wonder Woman that they know exactly who she is and they know exactly why she is here. But even knowing this information, they tell her that she is not welcome here. And she continues to inform Wonder Woman that the warriors' souls, none of them are lost. And none of the Valkyries are missing. The Valkyries have just grown weary of the same constant routine day in and day out. Sickened by the routine brutality, and some part of her knows that Wonder Woman can truly understand this. Because if anything, they have shared one simple truth, and that truth being that man is revolting, even in their finest of hours. The Valkyries remembered a time when there was some kind of honor in battle. But after the bridge closed and the Valkyries took the dead off of the battlefield in 2 world wars, it grew tiresome. It wore heavy on them, the horrors of war, on a constant routine pattern. And so the word valor, honor, these words, they lost meaning over the years. And so the Valkyries, they're not disappearing. They're taking a stand. They're deciding that they are no longer going to carry the dead off the battlefield, to let it all run its course, and eventually they will all kill themselves. And so what we're seeing is the Valkyries quitting their job. And while there are still some individuals out there collecting the dead, the head Valkyries, they truly believe that soon all of the Valkyries will join their cause. That all Valkyries will finally decease and stop carrying the dead. And in the midst of this conversation, this is when we hear the voice of the one and only Thor, the god of thunder. And these words that he has just heard come out of the Valkyrie's mouth, he is not happy about. They had followed Wonder Woman here. They had followed her in an attempt to claim their dead, to find out why the Valkyries haven't been doing their job, because these are their sacred duties. And now Thor is here to make them answer for their negligence. And Thor tells them that they need to all bow before the one true God. Now, of course, the Valkyries, they don't take kindly to this. They're already mad at the situation enough, and now Thor has come in demanding that they give obedience to him. And what we see is the storm finally about to break. The Titans are finally going to clash, and we see this battle kick off. Thor wielding his hammer, and the three Valkyries holding off all of these forces. And while all of this is going on, Wonder Woman is currently bound up still. She was bound up by the Valkyries, and while everybody is fighting, she ignores the fray, she ignores the battle, and she focuses. And with this focus, it brings remembrance, and she begins to remember who she is. Wonder Woman begins to remember everything. She remembers who she is, who she was, and who she strives to be. She remembers the burdens that brought her here, the sacrifices that she was willing to make that brought her to this place. And with this, we see Wonder Woman reborn. And as Thor is coming down with his hammer onto the Valkyrie, he gets intercepted immediately. Wonder Woman comes in and punches him, knocking him back. And Thor tells Wonder Woman that this isn't part of her business. None of this is really of any of concern to her. She is more of a wanderer in this place, and that she needs to step aside and let Thor do what Thor is going to do. But Wonder Woman informs him that she's going to intervene. She's going to make it her business. And so we see Wonder Woman and Thor going head to head. And as these two are sitting here battling, Thor warns her, tells her that she needs to put herself in check before he really unleashes his true power. And Wonder Woman taunts him, tells him to do it. And with that, we see the God of Thunder call down his lightning, using all of this power, striking it into Diana. And Wonder Woman's response is, "I'm not impressed." And taking Thor's hammer from him, she grabs it and knocks him across the head. And she tells him that this little hammer that you have, it's cool and all, but it's not really my style. And putting the hammer between her hands, she crushes it. And Thor is devastated. Seeing his hammer crushed, Wonder Woman tells him that it's not that big of a deal. That he got that from Dr. Psycho anyway. Because this whole time, all of the weapons that they got were from Dr. Psycho. These magic weapons were manipulating all of Asgard, seeping into their subconscious, enhancing their negative traits, even at times letting Dr. Psycho speak for him. And Wonder Woman goes on to tell Thor that he's just being manipulated. He's being manipulated by a mortal from her world. And then everything goes white, because Dr. Psycho has jumped into the mind of Wonder Woman. He's jumped into her mind to kind of cuss her out, to tell her that she doesn't belong here, and she needs to stop meddling in everything that he's doing. Because he came to this plane of existence, he came to Asgard to get away from the Justice League, to find a place that he could kind of have control over without them meddling in his affairs. But Wonder Woman, she laughs at him, and thinks it's funny that he would even think that Wonder Woman has come here for him. Wonder Woman has much bigger things to attend to, and she's got literal gods to go knock around. And so she tells Dr. Psycho to get out of her head, but he refuses, thinking that she is in a weakened state, thinking that she doesn't know who she is. He tries to use his powers and control her, but little does he know that she is remembered. She knows exactly who she is. And we see Wonder Woman wind up with a big ol' punch and knock it across his face. And she tells Dr. Psycho, this is all over. You're done here. I'm done playing this game. I have better things to do. She grabs him, headbutts Dr. Psycho, and he is knocked out cold. Now this is where we see the arrival of Deadman. Deadman has been the one kind of checking in on Wonder Woman throughout this entire time, trying to let her know that she doesn't belong in Asgard and she needs to get to Olympus because they need her help. And so Deadman, he grabs Dr. Psycho, grabs this fragmented piece of his mind to take it back to his body on Earth. But he reminds Diana yet again that she needs to get to Olympus. That once you arrive there, you will have every single answer that you are looking for. But right now, she doesn't even know what the questions that she is going to ask yet. But Deadman, being cryptic, tells her that once she goes, everything will be making sense. And lets her know that he is going to continue to check in on her from time to time, just to make sure that she is doing alright. And we see Wonder Woman coming to, sitting at a table with Thor and the Valkyries. And they're all here to have negotiations on what the best course of action is to do moving forward. Because Thor, he wants the Valkyries to do their job. The Valkyries, they don't want to do their job because it's become too tedious and too weary on their souls. Now, while everybody is arguing, this is when it's brought up about the tree of life, because it is technically dying. Ragnarok is still technically upon them, and if they don't do something about it, everything will come to an end. And Wonder Woman, she finally pieces it together. She pieces it together that blood is needed to feed the tree of life. The tree is fed by the blood of the fallen on the battlefield. And with fewer warriors being killed every single night, it means the tree isn't getting the proper nutrients that it requires. And if that tree dies, the giant serpent will be free. And if that happens, everybody is in trouble. And so an agreement was made. One day of every week, they would take time off from battle, let the Valkyries rest, and let them dream. A day free of combat. And with the other 6 days filled with battle, the tree is getting its proper nutrients so that all will remain fine in Asgard. And Thor, to commemorate this pact, to remember this day, to remember the day that they all take off, they called it Thirsty Thursdays. And with this, a celebration was had. Everybody was celebrating in the halls of Asgard. However, Wonder Woman, she was still troubled, because Siegfried has yet to return, and she wonders if he might ever. But in the midst of all of these festivities, this is when she hears his voice. And she rushes over and she kisses him, missing him immensely, knowing that she soon will have to be leaving to Olympus. But for this one day, for this one night, she is going to take this for herself. For this one night, she is going to enjoy being an Asgardian. And when the next morning comes calling, Diana not wanting to leave this place, but knowing that she has to, knowing that her destiny calls her elsewhere, she sneaks out and makes her way to the Tree of Life. And she is going to miss this place. Asgard has been truly amazing to her, but Asgard is not her home. And so it is time for her to return to Olympus. And as she is about to leave, this is when Siegfried comes running up the hill, screaming for her to wait. Now Siegfried, he doesn't want to leave her side. He wants to travel with her, saying that he could be a companion along her travels. But Diana turns him down, telling him that his place, it belongs here. And with her not accepting that, he offers up his sword, so that she will always have some kind of him to remember him by. And with that, they say their goodbyes. They say their goodbyes because it is time for Diana to go. It is time for her to finally head back to Olympus. And we see the giant eagle come out of the sky. With Wonder Woman mounting atop of it, it lifts off into the air. Now Diana, believing this is going to be the end of her adventures, that she is finally going to be able to go home and rest. But what she got when she got there was not what she expected, because the home she once remembered is now completely unrecognizable. What do you do when you finally make it home and your entire home is completely on fire? Because Olympus has fallen. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, I really didn't know what to expect jumping into this line, especially after the events of Dark Knight's death metal. But I have to say, I have not been disappointed so far in everything that they're doing. You know, the last 4 issues has been the story arc of her trying to get out of Asgard, somehow accidentally being placed here in this afterlife instead of hers in Olympus. But now returning to Olympus, she has found that her entire home is on fire. There's been something that has happened here. Possibly a battle, a war, maybe even a massacre. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, please do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. And until the next breakdown.